Ladies and gentlemen, it's the all-new Fireblade for 2020.
Eicma, or E-I-C-M-A. It is 5 words that send chills down any bike journalist's spine. The reason? The excitement of finding out about the latest gossip and the latest bikes is quickly quenched by the thought of spending 3 days walking around a motorcycle show that frankly makes the NEC bike show look like a dealer event. Eicma is, though, the place to be if you want the inside scoops on the most important bikes, all of the new bike launches, and some pretty cool manufacturer parties to boot. So without further ado, here's our pick of the best bikes of Eicma 2019. For Visordown, the biggest bike was the Kawasaki Z-H2. We've seen the teasers, we've followed the story, and Eicma was the point that we could see the bike in the flesh for the first time. We really can't talk about the show without giving it a mention. As if the normal Ninja H2 wasn't bonkers enough, Kawasaki have gone and built an all-new naked version from the ground up, including the frame. It only shares the engine with the H2 SX SE, although it's mapped differently and putting out an acclaimed 197 horsepower. This is definitely one bike that we cannot wait to ride in 2020. Next up, we've got the older statesman of the superbike roost in the form of Honda's all-new CBR 1000 RRRRR Fireblade, or however many R's there are on that name. It's the biggest HRC coloured news from the show. It's also the most powerful Fireblade to date. It features a raft of high-tech electronics and composite materials in its makeup, including electronic suspension. It's got all new riding modes and settings that you can adjust through the TFT dash. The changes that have been made to this Fireblade and the fact that it's now pushing out over 200 horsepower makes it's joined back up to the superbike and the sports bike class, and it's definitely one of the most important Hondas that's been released for a long time. Another bike that was grabbing a lot of headlines and a lot of stand space at the show was the MV Agusta Rush 1000. It's a stylised take on the already bonkers Brutale 1000 Super Naked, and it's got a lot of attention at the show. You couldn't really get near to this bike on the stand. It had a big crowd of people around it for most of the event. It's built around the same frame, chassis and engine as the Brutale 1000 Super Naked, meaning it's putting out over 200 horsepower, and it's got Brembo, full-on Brembo brakes and Olin suspension. What this bike has got that one hasn't is it's got a little bit of added Cafe Racer styling in terms of the round headlight and the Cafe Racer handlebars. It's then decked in lashings of carbon fibre and a rather cool looking rear wheel, sort of a carbon fibre shroud on the rear wheel. The price tag for this bike makes it suitably exclusive as well, which is over £30,000 if you please. So, a bike that we've actually already been lucky enough to ride is the Rocket 3, and this was another one of those ones that we'd seen the teasers and then we'd seen the launch information when they launched it. But again, Eicma was the first chance that a lot of us had got to see the bike in the flesh. We've actually just come back from the press riding launch of this bike in Tenerife. You can check out a full review by clicking here. And as big bikes go, you don't get much bigger than the Rocket from Hinckley, but don't let that put you off. It's civilised, it's fast, and it loves a twisty road. Very much worthy of a springtime test ride. For 2020, the flagship Naked in the KTM range gets revised styling, including a MotoGP style rear end, a brand new trellis frame which is both thinner, stronger and lighter than before, offering more torsional stiffness, a cast iron subframe, top spec WP Apex suspension and Brembo brakes. We're on the press launch for this new bike in February. Watch this space. After acquiring a 49.9% stake in the exotic builder from Rimini, Kawasaki and Bimota thought they'd share the news with the world by unveiling their firstborn offspring, and that is the Kawasaki TESI H2. It's a H2 powered, hub steered, 220 brake horsepower sports bike, and it is probably one of the most outlandish things that we saw at the show this year. So if you wanted some proof that not all bikes need big capacities to generate big thrills, the RS 660 may just be it. Yes, it is small in capacity and in physical size, but the suspension electronics that this thing has are absolutely top spec. It is sure to be mighty in the thrills department. It's got wheelie control, traction control, cornering ABS, 6-axis IMU and power modes, and lots more. Some people may complain that it only has 100 horsepower, but I'm pretty sure these are going to be some of the best horsepower that money can buy. Another bike we're about to go on the launch of is the new 2020 Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX. For this year, the bike has gained more than just the name change. It has a sporty and new front end, revised styling along the flanks, a new tail unit and more refined electronics. That electronics package includes heated grips as standard, a quick shifter, 4 riding modes, a TFT dash and an adjustable screen. If you're looking for a normally aspirated intercontinental ballistic missile, look no further.